So I wanted to start off with just a brief overview of Dryad's approach to software development and interacting with the community. Sarah, if you could go to the next slide. So Dryad was founded by scientists, scientific societies, with generous funding from governmental agencies. And as part of our founding, we have always had a commitment to being very open and community driven. So we worked with a lot of scientists, particularly as Sarah mentioned in the evolutionary biology and ecology communities, to design the first version of our submission system. And then we worked very closely with scientific societies and publishers to design that integration between the publishing process for articles and the publishing process for data sets. And we continue to refine that to today. Because of this background and because of our nonprofit status, we've always had a commitment to open source software. So Dryad's software has always been available upon request, but people find it without requesting and make use of it. Early versions of Dryad were based on the DSpace software, which is widely used in institutional repositories, and a lot of Dryad's early advancements were rolled back into DSpace, so those tools are used in institutional repositories today. And then I wanted to mention that there is a disciplinary repository called MoveBank, whose first version was based almost entirely on Dryad's code. And we were very flattered to see that that was taken up. I think they have moved on now to a more custom version for their system. Sarah, can we get those slides back or? All right, so if you go to Dryad's website and click on the What We Do menu, you'll see this next picture. And at the first couple of paragraphs there describe Dryad in general, but there's a link to getting to the open source software. And when you click on that link, I just want to note, even if you're not a software developer, go ahead, Sarah. You'll get to our code base, and there's a link here on the right that shows our releases. We release on a regular cycle of every 2 weeks, and you can click on the releases heading or on one of those specific release links, and that will take you to a detailed description of what has changed in Dryad during that cycle. So every 2 weeks, you can come back and see what we're adding, what we're upgrading, what problems we're fixing. All right. In addition to just the code being open, we're very committed to having an open process, and that includes conversations with all of our members. So this is a snapshot of Dryad's product planning board, where we keep track of the issues that we're working on every week. We're very, this is open to the public, and we're very willing to discuss it with members. Go ahead and click on that again, Sarah. We also have a lot of documentation that is open. We use some of this, I'm sure some of you have seen this, as we have integrated your publishing systems with Dryad. But there are pieces in this that are relevant not to just the publishing connection with Dryad, but other people who are trying to do particular tasks with Dryad, where we've detailed out all the steps that can be performed to accomplish various tasks. All right, next piece. And finally, I want to point out that Dryad has an API that third parties can connect with to get access to data sets. And of course, some of our publishing partners have used the API now to do a more advanced integration when they're submitting data sets. So we're very grateful for those partnerships, because they allow us to make the process even more seamless for our authors. All right, next. If you go to the Dryad website and you click on the Contact Us page, there are a number of different options here for contacting us, the very first thing is to just email the help desk with any questions or concerns. You can also email the help desk for if you want to get in touch with someone to better understand our product development process and get input into those prioritizations. But then this first big blue button that you see here, share your interests. We are actively campaigning this year for new people to join our pool of user testers. So as we're developing new software, we want to get as much testing from across the community as possible and really get all the possible perspectives when we're making these designs. All right, next. Another communication mechanism that we have added recently is when authors complete a data submission, they're invited to complete a short survey on the submission process. We're in the process of developing a companion survey that looks not at the nuts and bolts of submission, but also the author's experience with the curation process and the entire workflow surrounding their data submission. So please do encourage your authors to complete these or contact us if they would like to have more input into the process. All right, and next. Finally, we are putting together a survey that is targeted at all of you on this call and our larger membership community. We have a number of features that we're discussing for creation in 2024, and we want to get our community's input to help us to prioritize those features. So I've listed out just a few of the major things that we're considering here: improving reports, providing better dashboards, providing a little bit more customization within the Dryad system where users would be able to connect themselves to multiple institutions and control which institutions were associated with which data submissions, etc. So we really want the community's input when we're trying to decide which of these features needs to be developed first, and once we get into developing those features, to really help us determine the exact way that those features are designed and what interactions are most important for our users. So looking forward to getting that feedback from all of you. Thanks.